welcome back guys, and thanks for coming and learning to grow with Princeton Microgreens. It really means a lot to us that you enjoy our videos. We're doing very well right now, and I couldn't be happier with the response that we've got from creating this channel. So thanks to you guys, because it's all, I could have done this without you basically. So today we're growing something a little special, not necessarily a microgreen, but something we get asked about all the time, and that's how to grow wheatgrass. So today we're going to do just that. Wheatgrass is amazing for you. There's so many studies that show all the nutrients in it. Everything from, this isn't me speaking, but this is, everything that I've heard about, fighting cancers, and there's just so many research and so much research out there that you can find about wheatgrass. And they say that you're supposed to take a shot of wheatgrass every morning on an empty stomach. To me, I'll put it in a smoothie just because I can't do the full just shot straight up. It's very strong, but it is very good for you. So it's definitely something that you should learn to grow. And so that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to actually soak this for 8 hours before we actually put it and sow it down. So we're going to start off by doing that really quick. So the first, we're going to actually just go ahead and take our mason jar, which you can find this anywhere. You know where you can find mason jars. They're at any supermarket or craft store or wherever. We're going to zero this out, and we're going to do 200 grams of seed. So probably right around 2 scoops. We'll see here. We're at 165. We'll do a little bit more. 194. 202, 203. That's good. So, and then we're going to go ahead and fill this. I want to get the scale wet here. Fill this with water. It doesn't need to be any special water. It doesn't need to be pH balanced or anything. Just regular tap water is completely fine. It's not going to hurt you. Fill it all the way to the top. Part of that lid on, overflow a little bit. Okay, tighten it down. All right, and there we have it. We're now soaking wheatgrass. So it's as easy as that. So now we just let this sit 8 hours, and we'll come right back. Okay, we are back 12 hours later with our wheatgrass. So we're going to go ahead and strain this, put this onto the medium, and we'll give that a go. Okay, so we actually already have our medium laid out here. So I'm going to go ahead and strain out this wheatgrass. There we go. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually take it here, soak this down a little bit. Get everything off the sides of the jar, and dump it right back out. There we go. We got it all. And we just give it a good rinse. There we go. Pretty good there. Get all the excess water out of there. And then we just spread it on, like so. It'll get kind of clumpy, obviously, because it is wet, but you just got to deal with it. It is what it is. Get most of that out of there. There we go, we got it all. And now we just give it a good spread with our hands. As even as possible here. This stuff gets really thick when it starts growing. It's a pretty cool grow. It's like in science class when you were a kid. You used to put little grass seed into like a little cup and draw a face on it. And give it some water and the grass would act like it was hair coming up from your little smiley face. I don't know if anybody remembers that. It's many, many moons ago. That's at least what we did when we were kids. So, see if I can actually give this a nice little shake here. There we go. That was pretty decent. I don't like to shake too hard because sometimes the medium will shake loose. So I've had that happen before. Medium go everywhere. When we water this, you don't want to give it too much. Most of our greens we give a lot of water to. Wheatgrass not so much. Wheatgrass is pretty prone to getting like this big cotton ball fluffy mold if you water too much. And wheatgrass does not need a lot of water to grow. It really does not. It's just like the very bare minimum as possible. And it'll still grow, it'll grow big. It'll grow great, it'll grow healthy. It just doesn't need a lot of water. As soon as you start giving it too much water, boom, mold every time. So that's the hardest part about growing wheatgrass. Outside of that, it's the easiest thing to grow, as long as you can control the mold. So we'll go ahead and mist this down. There we go. And we actually do not add weight to this. We literally just put a tray right on top, just like this. That is all we need to do. It doesn't need weight on it at all. And this will actually germinate pretty fast. You actually see little bits of grass coming out of the seed. They look like, I don't know how to explain it, but you'll see it popping out. We'll show you what it looks like here in the next 2 days or so. Again, this germinates pretty fast, so I'm going to say probably around 2 days. And you don't need to actually introduce this at all to Blackout. You can go right from germination right to light. So we'll go ahead and put this on a shelf for now. Just like so. I already have it labeled here. I use a little dry erase marker which goes great on this. So when it comes time for cleanup, it comes right off real easy. So, but it's good for labeling. So it's better than putting labels on and having to stick and unstick. It's a pain. So. But anyway, yeah, we'll come back in a few days and we'll see what that's doing and see if we can put it under light. So we'll see you soon. Okay, welcome back to day number 4 of our wheatgrass grow. I actually woke up this morning and this wasn't like this. It wasn't, it wasn't pushing this tray up like this. It was actually maybe a 1/4 of an inch tall. The tray was sitting on it pretty good and I woke up and now look at it, right? We can take this off. And wow, you can see here, this has really grown so much overnight from day 3 to day 4. You don't need to introduce this into Blackout at all. We can go right from germination right to the light. But first, we're going to go ahead and lift this up here. We're going to give this a little bit of water. There's absolutely no mold or anything in here, which is very important because you don't want to overwater wheatgrass. It really doesn't need much water. I know it seems like it does because it's a very, large plant when it grows, but it really doesn't. And the more water you introduce to this, the more susceptible it's going to be to getting some sort of fungus or mold or something on it. So we want to very, very much limit ourselves with how much water we give this. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to give this the first day some good old ocean mineral nutrient water. Again, we use this for most of our grows. It's only 1/2 ounce of this for every 1 gallon of water mixed. And you can get this right on Amazon or right on their website as well. The link is in the description box, so if you're looking to get it, go ahead and click the link. So we're going to go ahead and give it, let's say about a cup of water here. Not too much again, we don't want to overwater it because we don't want it too wet and too moist. So I gave it about a cup of water here. Let it sit in there. And then what we're going to do is just go ahead and we just introduce this right to light and this is ready to start growing. This grows really fast. So I don't expect this to be more than a couple more days here before we're ready to harvest this. Put it right in light. Here you go, and we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see what it's doing. All right, see you shortly. And we are back to day number 5 of our wheatgrass grow. And this has actually grown quite a bit since yesterday, probably another good inch. Wheatgrass grows very, very fast. You know, most microgreens, you know, you'd be harvesting in 9-10 days. This, you can actually start harvesting, you know, maybe around day 7-8 sometimes, depending. It depends on the temperature that you're growing at. I find microgreens really like to grow at a temperature anywhere from 70 to 80 degrees. But right now with us, it's a little cold. Where we're growing, it's a little colder. So sometimes our microgreens grow a little slower than normal. So no big deal. This is looking really good. It's looking really solid. If you look in the middle here, you can't see any mold at all. It looks really, really good. We've only watered this one other time outside of when we sowed the seed. Again, not a lot of microgreens need a ton of water. Only a select few really, you know, soak up that water a ton. Wheatgrass, if you give it too much water, you will see and have mold issues. So, you know, just watch when you water it. You don't need to overwater. Just give it enough. Again, lift that tray up. If that tray feels really light to you, then it probably needs water. But if you lift that tray up, and I mean, it feels pretty, you know, pretty darn heavy, then, you know, you might not need to water it, or maybe just a little bit of water, right? So it's all about a little bit of common sense when you're growing. You know, I know not everybody has a green thumb, but, you know, try to just use your brain a little bit and think to yourself, you know, does this probably need water? You know, it feels heavy, it probably don't need water. You know, just little things like that. Not too complex. It's not rocket science. So, all right. Probably give it about 3/4 to a cup. So right around there. Again, we don't want to overwater it. And then we're just going to take it, introduce it right back to the light again. Easy as that. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll see what that looks like. All right, see you tomorrow. Okay, welcome back to day number 6 of our wheatgrass grow. And it has again grown about another inch from yesterday. This has been, since it's germinated, it's grown about an inch a day for the last 3 days, and we're right around probably 3 inches or even more now. This is looking really good. I can actually go ahead and check the water really quick. We'll give it a little bit more. It's still a little wet, but it's starting to dry up a little bit. Again, we do not want to give this too much water. You know, I'm looking through here, and this looks really good. If this gets too wet, if the medium gets too soaking wet, you know, and it soaks through, you will create mold. This is very prone, in my opinion, from what I've seen. If you give this too much water, you'll get like a big cotton ball the size of like a softball, right smack in the middle here. And that just means that you've overwatered it. So this looks great. I don't see any mold at all, which is just phenomenal for this, because that just, boom, we just cut this in a few more days, and this is just a gorgeous product. And we have some, you know, something exciting to show you at the end, so that I'm really excited to get into. So first, we will, running out of nutrient water here, but we'll give this a little bit more nutrient water. Again, not too much. I'm only going to give it less than a cup here. I'm not going to give it this whole thing. Just enough to fill the bottom, just barely. Nice thin layer of water. That's all it needs to stay happy. Doesn't need much more than that, like I said. So, all right, so now we're just going to take it, introduce it right back to light again. And we will come back tomorrow and we'll see what it's doing. See you shortly. And welcome back to day number 7 of our wheatgrass grow. And again, it's grown about another inch. This is almost ready for harvest. I definitely want to try to push it 1 to 2 more days here. This will get a little bit taller. But if you lift up, it's actually very light. And that's the way I like it, because, again, it's very prone to mold. But, you know, when you lift this up and it's pretty light and it's running on a dry side, but they still have that vibrant green color, that just tells you that they don't need a lot of water. And the biggest mistake that I see people do is overwater their crops, especially this one, especially wheatgrass. You don't need to overwater wheatgrass. It'll be just fine without. If you actually take a closer look here at these roots, they're gorgeous. They're beautiful. They're white, and they're healthy. And we're pretty dry down here, and we're obviously going to give it more water. But we have absolutely no mold or anything like that. This is just a great crop all the way around the way it is right now. So we'll go ahead and we'll give it a little bit of water here. I'm only watering this about once a day. And we'll go ahead and give it, I'm going to say about a cup and a half of water, because it is pretty dry. But we don't need to, don't need to go crazy. It's about a cup that I give it. So, not too much, not too little. So we'll go ahead and come back tomorrow and see what this is doing. We'll put this back in the light for now. It's looking great. It's a beautiful crop. So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how much bigger it gets, and we'll decide whether or not we want to harvest or not. All right? See you then. All right, everyone, welcome back to day number 8, which is going to be harvest day today, because this is looking absolutely perfect to harvest. This is a great length. We really don't want to get too much larger than this at all. This is going to be perfect. And what's really awesome about wheatgrass, which I haven't mentioned before, is that you can actually harvest this again. You can actually, when you cut it, it will actually grow 2 or 3 more times, so you can actually harvest that again. Now, I wouldn't go and sell that type of wheatgrass that you've harvested the second time. What I would use it for is juicing. Because it's going to be cut. It's going to have like little yellow spots on top of the from where you cut it before, where it grows up and such, and it's not going to look perfect, and it won't be that really elegant, beautiful wheatgrass that you would traditionally sell from the first cut. So again, I would use those second and third cuts for juicing. So today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So normally I would actually harvest wheatgrass into about 4-ounce containers is what I sell my wheatgrass for. And instead of doing that today, normally I sell a 4-ounce container for about $10. But instead of doing that today, I'm actually going to use this. And so I'm just going to harvest right into this bowl here. So let's go ahead and get started. Should be pretty straightforward. Wheatgrass is very easy to cut. Sweep right through with a nice sharp knife, put into the bowl, and then go from there. So before we start cutting, you can see here that this is beautiful. You can see all the way through the middle here. There's absolutely no mold at all. It's beautiful. It's dry. I made sure I turned the fans on last night. That way it's nice and dry for harvest here. But this is gorgeous. This is such a gorgeous crop. So we'll go ahead and start off. Literally just take it right at the bottom here and just kind of sweep right through. Just like so. Just put it right into the bowl. I'm not too concerned about how pretty it looks in the bowl just because we are going to juice this. But this is a really fast harvest. There's really not much to watch. Some of your other wheatgrass, or not I should say, some of your other microgreens, they're a little bit more delicate than this is, obviously, and kind of take your time harvesting. But wheatgrass, as you can see here, it's going to take less than a minute to harvest this entire tray. So, look at that. It smells like you just cut your lawn. You were outside with the lawnmower, and how you get that nice spring smell after you cut the grass, and it smells really good. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. That's how you grow wheatgrass, how you cut it. Again, so we can sell this as is in the 4-ounce containers. 2 ounces is just too small. You really can't do much with 2 ounces of wheatgrass, right? So I jump right to the 4-ounce containers. You can look at any of our other videos and see the types of containers we use. I'll even put the description down below. or I should say the link down in the description box below for you to look at some of our containers that we use. Now what we're going to do with this is after this I'm going to make another video, so keep an eye out for that. I'll actually put up here a link to the video, and we're actually going to show you how to juice this and actually put it into, let me see if I have it, yep, right here. So we have this plastic, and they're actually blocked off, and you introduce the wheatgrass juice into the top here, and it fills up all of these blocks and it seals, and then you can actually freeze this. And then what it does is it actually creates blocks of wheatgrass juice because you actually have to freeze wheatgrass juice very quickly. Wheatgrass juice doesn't stay good for more than a couple hours in the refrigerator. So you never want to juice wheatgrass and then basically put it directly in the refrigerator for later. You have to use it right away. But if you freeze it, it will stay good for months. And so we've come up with a technique to do that and actually sell it to customers all juiced up in ice, so they can break it off, put it right in their smoothies. So if you really want to watch that video, again, I'll put the link above here, and please click on that. And thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon. All right, bye-bye. Hello everyone, Peter here from Princeton Microgreens. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Also, if you have any ideas, suggestions, or questions, feel free to leave them below in the comment box. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.